So, honoring Martin Luther King Day and Martin Luther King, although I'm probably the least person to do this, since I'm not really seeing much happening in this country respecting what it is that Martin Luther King actually stood for and what he did for America, because we literally living in a neo-Nazi white supremacist remake, okay? I just want to reiterate, his life and legacy on my channel out of respect and dignity for the people that fought for what we really hold, anybody with sanity holds dear in this nation or should hold dear. And I have much respect for this man. And I don't care what anybody else says. If it's something negative, you're going to get blocked on my channel, straight up. So let's remember Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King Jr., born Michael King Jr. on January 15th, 1929 through April 4th of 1968. I was born in 68. Just want to tell you that. All right. Was an American civil rights activist and Baptist minister who was a leader of the civil rights movement from 1955 till his assassination in 1968. He advanced civil rights for people of color. I want to say he advanced civil rights for everybody. Everybody. Not just people of color. Well, let me just say this. Everybody's got a Q and a color. But this government wants to distinguish some groups of people and want to exclude them from the rest of the population. But anyways, I digress. He advanced the civil rights for people of color in the United States through the use of nonviolence resistance and civil disobedience against Jim Crow laws and other forms of legalized discrimination, which most commonly affected African Americans. Let me pull this up. I'm pretty sure. Let me see. Yep. A black church leader, King participated in and led marches for the rights to vote, desegregation, labor rights, and other civil rights. He oversaw the 1955 Montgomery bus boycott and was the first president of the Southern Christian Leadership Conference. True Christians, I might add. Leadership Conference, SCLC, leading the unsuccessful Albany movement in Albany, Georgia, and helping organize nonviolent 1963 protests in Birmingham, Alabama. King was one of the leaders of the 1963 March on Washington, where he delivered his I Have a Dream speech and helped organize 2 of 3 Selma to Montgomery marches during the 1965 Selma voting rights movement. There were dramatic standoffs standoffs with segregationist authorities who often responded violently. The civil rights movement achieved pivotal legislative gains in the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Voting Rights Act of 1965 and the Fair Housing Act of 1968. King was jailed several times. Federal Bureau of Investigation's FBI Director J. Edgar Hoover considered King a radical and made him an object of COINTELPRO from 1963. The FBI agents investigated him for possible communist ties, spies on his personal life, and secretly recorded him in 1964. The FBI mailed King a threatening anonymous letter, which he interpreted as an attempt to make him commit suicide. King won the 1964 Nobel Peace Prize. Now we know why Trump is he's so obsessed about the Nobel Peace Prize and him getting the Nobel Peace Prize, right? For combating radical inequalities through nonviolent resistance. In his final years, he expanded his focus to include opposition towards poverty and the Vietnam War. In 1968, King was planning a national occupation of Washington, D.C. to be called the Poor People's Campaign, and he was assassinated on April 4th in Memphis, Tennessee. James Earl Ray was convicted of the assassination through the remains of the subject of. Let me just say this. He was doing a campaign for the poor people of America. Can you see what a threat that is to the American government? If all races of people understood his message. Again, honoring Martin Luther King on this day, even if our government doesn't acknowledge him right now.